This is what the brain's goal is to say, hey, once I've practiced something a lot, once I get something about the world, I'm going to burn it deeper and deeper into the circuitry so I don't have to burn a lot of energy on it. When you're starting your next business or you're, wanting to do the next great thing where you're surfing the web of AI, you'll say, oh, I learned this thing when I was 16. I learned this thing when I was 22. And these are paying off now.
I think I heard Andrew Huberman say that one of the most fascinating discoveries of the last century is a particular part of the brain called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. And it links to what you were saying a second ago about challenge and doing things that are difficult.
Your whole brain is active. Let's say I measured your brain, even with something like EEG, electroencephalography. That's where I stick electrodes on the outside. Let's say I measure your brain and my brain. We're doing something that, let's say you're an expert at. What's something you're really good at? Juggling?
Let's go for juggling.
Okay. Let's say you're an expert juggler. Let's say I've never juggled. Okay. If we're both juggling, you're going to be much better than I am, but your brain will be less active. You won't have as much activity in your brain. My brain is on fire with activity because why? I'm trying to figure out, okay, where do I put my hand? So when I'm a novice at something, my brain is using much more activity, not just the anterior mid-cingulate, but tons of activity all over because I'm trying to figure out the rules. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You as an expert, you got it. You don't need to burn much activity. This is what the brain's goal is to say, hey, once I've practiced something a lot, once I get something about the world, I'm going to burn it deeper and deeper into the circuitry so I don't have to burn a lot of energy on it.
On this part of the brain, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, Andrew Huberman was saying it's larger in people that do things that they basically don't want to do, hard things. If you spend your life doing things you don't want to do, then it happens to be bigger. And so people have now thought of this part of the brain almost like the willpower muscle. Because for some reason, those that are doing hard things have bigger ones and those that are not have smaller ones.
It would be some indication retrospectively of how hard you have worked. Look, the fact is you can see changes in brain size with lots of things. I'll give you an example. If you are a pianist, if you play piano, then we can actually see physical changes in your motor cortex. This is the part of the brain essentially underneath where you would wear headphones. For those who are looking visually, it's this red part here. You actually get a bigger loop of tissue here than you do in a normal brain. Why? Because you're doing so much fine motor activity with your fingers, with both hands. In contrast, if you're a violinist, you're only really doing that kind of detailed activity with one hand, and the other hand's just bowing. And so you only get that activity here in one half of the brain for violinists. So I can look at a brain and tell, hey, is the person a pianist or a violinist or neither? I can tell just by looking at the visual cortex because you see changes in the brain based on what you do.